Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Chaya and I welcome you to today's Zoom meeting. In today's Zoom meeting, we are going to talk about initiatives and referendums, specifically in Arizona. Okay, so before we get started, a few things I want to go over are the objectives and the purpose of this Zoom. Some of the objectives we are going to discuss in this Zoom presentation will be to understand what an initiative and referendum are, how they were created, the similarities and differences between both, and how initiatives and referendums support the idea of direct democracy in Arizona. So, to get started, let's just talk about some definitions of what an initiative and referendum are. An initiative allows citizens to create laws or amendments through a ballot. A referendum are from the General Assembly or government that are also a creation of laws or amendments that are also put on a ballot for people to vote on. Now, they are the same because they both do need to be voted on and they are both part of the legislative process. However, they're different because an initiative starts with the citizens while a referendum starts with the government or the General Assembly. To form an initiative in Arizona, there are some steps that must be followed. You first must have a political committee through the Arizona Secretary of State online system. You have to follow an application for the committee that you are working with. You have to acquire an appropriate petition through the Secretary of State. You also have to make sure that it is registered through the Secretary of State as well. You must circulate your petition and obtain signatures from 15% of eligible voters. That's very important because then it cannot be put on the ballot if it does not have 15% of signatures from eligible voters in the state of Arizona. You must then submit your petition by the deadline that is on the Arizona Secretary of State's website. And then, and it's important because there is a deadline, and then the Secretary of State recorders will process the petition and determine whether or not everything was properly followed to place the measure on the ballot. Now, that's how initiatives are created. Referendums are a little bit different because, like I said, they are from the General Assembly and they're not from the citizens, the people. So, Arizona is one out of 18 states that require the application of a referendum through the General Assembly, and it has to be submitted to, again, the Secretary of State. Same like the initiatives, however, it's the General Assembly that's submitting it. Sponsors are also needed for the application, and it has to be specific of what is going to be put on the ballot based on what the General Assembly is proposing. So how do they support direct democracy? Well, they both have to be voted on by majority of the people. This is how it's supported direct democracy in Arizona. All the laws and amendments passed and voted on are based on the body of the population, not just the government. So it's important to understand that although the state of Arizona has initiatives and referendums, and other states as well, it's important to understand the difference between the two. In Arizona, you are, as a citizen and someone who lives in Arizona, you are able to create laws and amendments as long as you follow those specific steps that are placed on the Secretary of State's website for Arizona. Referendums can also be placed on ballots based on the General Assembly. However, those are strictly from the government. The citizens do not have any say in the referendums. That's what an initiative is. It is able to be produced by the people for the people. So overall, in this presentation, we discuss what a referendum is, what an initiative is, how it is connected to the direct democracy in Arizona, similarities and differences. I really hope that you will able to gain some knowledge about this topic through this presentation. Thank you so much.